Welcome to the course on OpenSearch with AIML. This chapter we're talking about installation and configuration, and in our previous lecture we left off at this slide, which is migrate from ES to OS. In this, let's move on to the next demo. The first demo is installing OpenSearch on a virtual machine. We'll be using AWS Cloud for the same. And in the next demo, we will be using another laptop or a virtual machine at your own home on your local Wi-Fi. Let's step into AWS console. So this is my AWS EC2 console, and you can launch instances from here. Let's go ahead and launch instances. I'm going to call it OpenSearch, the name, and you want to select Ubuntu 2404 LTS, and the instance type you would want to select as at least 4 GB of RAM. So let's scroll through here and let's identify a 4 GB. I would go ahead and select a large, which is a 2 virtual core CPUs and an 8 GB. Let's go ahead and select it. Let's create a new key pair for this. Let's call it OpenSearch for now. Keep all the defaults, create the key pair. The key pair gets downloaded to your downloads folder. Leave rest of the settings as is. If you might, create a new security group. Allow SSH traffic because we will be using our SSH connection from our Visual Studio Code to access this machine. For now, leave the rest as is. And for the storage, let's give about 50 gigabytes, and you will understand that in a while once we access the machine. The cost of this for this course walkthrough would be less than $5. Though if you keep it running for a long time and you want to execute every code snippet in this course, that would depend on how long you keep this instance running. The demonstration of this entire course is done on another virtual machine on my local Wi-Fi. Though you are welcome to have your virtual machine running in the cloud, and you could execute and have the same experience. Don't forget to turn off the virtual machine when not in use though. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch the instance. While this is getting created, oh, that was very quick. I thought I would pause, but this went pretty quick. So let's go ahead and click this instance. And you can see the instance state is pending. It needs to be ready to access the instance. So while that is happening, take a break and I'll be right back. Okay, the instance state of the machine is running, and now we should be able to access it. One of the easiest way to access this machine would be right click and connect. And in this case, I will be using an EC2 instance connect, which lets me connect to this instance right in the browser. Let's go ahead and connect. There you go. One of the first things that you would want to do is do an apt update, or rather sudo apt update. And that will ensure all the package registries are updated. The reason we do this is we would want to get our instance ready. For example, install Docker. Okay. The first thing that you would have to do is install a Docker. So let's go ahead, type install Docker on Ubuntu. Let's go to the DigitalOcean. I'd rather go to the Docker docs and scroll down, and you'd find some of the installation methods here. Let's go ahead and follow the instructions and copy this. Paste it here. Let's go ahead and execute that. So to install the latest version, you could take this command, paste the command, and as you can see, it installs Docker container runtime, client, container D, and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and install that. Press yes. And while that is executing, keep scrolling down, and you want to test, you can test it with the hello world. This might vary based on the instance you are using, the server time, the network, and so on. So I'm going to pause the video and be right back. Okay, I'm back, and everything went successfully. You should not see any errors. Let's test it. Let's run sudo docker run hello world, and as you can see, an image was pulled, and you get this hello from Docker. That means Docker runtime is successfully installed and the service is started, and you're able to communicate with the Docker. Now, do you want to prepend sudo every time for running it? Not necessarily. And hence, one of the tips that you want to do is you want to add your current users to the Docker group. So, how do you do that? As you keep scrolling down, you would find post-installation steps. So you want to manage Docker as a non-root user, in this case Ubuntu. So let's go ahead and do so the group Docker already exists, which is good. Let's go ahead and add this user, the current user, to the group, and let's test groups. So let's go ahead and let's try now docker run hello world. So apparently there seems to be an error which says permission denied while trying to access the Docker daemon socket. This happens mostly on Ubuntu instances with version 24. And so the way to fix that has been documented. If you go back to your Visual Studio Code and go to the README, scroll all the way down, and you will notice that on EC2 Ubuntu instance, if you get this error, which is what we are getting, then we have to give higher permissions to this. We need to ensure that the socket has read-write and execute permissions at a higher level. So let's go ahead and give that. And once we have done that, let's run docker run hello world, and you can see it works as expected. So now your Docker is ready, and in the next demo, we will go through how to ready the system and connect it via Visual Studio Code. Thank you.